Okay, I think we can get started. So hello everyone. My name is Arif, and welcome to HiBlock Demo Day. I'm your host today. So really excited to have you all here today. The day of celebration of everything that the startup represents, the year boy moments, the product innovation, and latest developments. And with the Web3 mindset, have you guys noticed that the word demos? Okay, so before we get started, I want to give you a bit about the layout of today. So the entire show will be 2 hours long. We surprisingly have 9 projects today to join us. There will be 30 minutes discussion, and right after that, the project presentation. So this time, we're glad to have our partners to co-host with us with this to this demo day. So before we get started, I want everybody to edit your name and organization, and please turn on your camera and raise your hands with the emoji down below before asking questions, and so we can unmute you. So here are our mentors to support all startups founders. These mentors are all from different backgrounds and verticals. We're glad to have more new members on board. They are not all here to just know more about your projects, but also to provide support and advice to the startups after the demo day. Okay, let's get started with our roundtable discussions. We have 3 speakers today discussing the outlook and strategy of this year. We have Victor G. He is the founder of Manta Network. Dalen Kugler from Mina Foundation. He's the director of the Global Ecosystem BD. And Hunter Hu, the managing director of North Beta Capital. Glad to have you all here. And without further ado, I would like to start with you, Dylan. Could you introduce a bit about yourself and your institution?
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks so much, Athena Ventures, HiBlock, for having me here. My name is Dylan. I work at the Mina Foundation, come from a crypto VC background, and really love the zero knowledge space. So hopped right into Mina Foundation a few months ago. So we work on the ecosystem side for Mina Protocol, which is a zero knowledge proof focused layer 1 blockchain. Oh, sorry, Arif, I think you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. And Victor, could you introduce yourself and talk about your institution? Is Victor with us today? Okay, I guess we can jump to Hunter. Hunter, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. You can hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, this is Hunter from North Beta Capital. We started to invest in Web3 for many years, and we now focus on infrastructure and also applications. We invested dozens of events and projects in this world, and right now we are building a community focusing on the Web3, and we also invested in Web2 for 10 years. So that's our background, and we invest both in the equity and token, and also the secondary market as well. And for me, I started my job in Baidu Group as a M&A head, and then Blue Run Capital, and then I'm leading the Web3 team in North Beta Capital. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, hi, Dylan. I mean, it was good to see you again. I remember our last conversation about ZK knowledge. So could you briefly explain what is zero knowledge and Snark?
Yeah, sure. So at a high level, ZKPs allow an entity to prove to the rest of the world that they know a piece of information or that they have correctly completed a task without revealing the information or showing the details of the task execution. It's a fairly complex piece of technology, and I'm sure we'll get into some of the reasons why it's extremely complex and what that actually means for the environment and adoption for it. But I think it's a key piece of technology for blockchain advancement. It's currently used a lot for scaling purposes within the Ethereum network, as you can probably guess from the narrative recently about ZK EVMs. But there are so many use cases for zero knowledge that span beyond just scaling. So the near-term use cases that I see most likely are going to be privacy and attestation. But at Mina, we're building an accelerator right now, and we're seeing tons of different use cases that span way beyond this element. So it's a really interesting, fascinating kind of a cryptographic way of scaling and adding privacy elements to the blockchain. Hopefully, in the future, zero knowledge will be used to actually get enterprises on board, especially, as part of our later part of conversation will be about some of the recent bank issues in the United States and institutional adoption and potentially moving to DeFi. So we'll see what happens with that, but I think it's a really fascinating space.
Yeah, and with Mina Foundation, what kind, with the technology of ZK per se, what does it make Mina protocol special?
Yeah, so we are a zero knowledge proof layer 1 blockchain. So we decided to create a whole new protocol separate from Ethereum because there are simply elements at the layer 1 level that's required from a snark perspective. There's a reason why there's a spectrum of different ZK EVMs built on Ethereum, and it's because the opcode and bytecode associated with the layer 1 of Ethereum isn't necessarily suited from a snark perspective. I'm sure Victor has a lot of opinions as well because Manta is built on Polkadot. So I'm sure he has a great answer for that as well. But the way Mina kind of sets itself apart is, one, we've built at the smart contract level really great tooling to abstract away some of the complexity for building zero knowledge applications. Beyond that, we use TypeScript, which is a Java-based framework, which is probably the most widely used framework for development. So that means you don't have to learn Cairo. It means that you don't have to learn Noir or other domain-specific languages that are quite complex. And finally, we use something called recursive snarks that basically allow us to create a proof of the blockchain, allowing us to keep it at a proof size of less than 22 kilobytes, which allows for some really interesting use cases from a decentralization perspective.
Thank you. And while I can see Victor is here, Victor, I know you also have a lot of experience on ZK proof. And could you share about your opinion and what makes ZK knowledge considered one of the most leading technologies in infrastructure?
Hello. Sorry for late. Yeah, I've been stuck in.
Sorry.
I've been stuck in the last call. Yeah, I mean, I think we've been research on the ZK since 2019 and been building Manta for 2 years. And I mean, I think generally ZK have two direction. One is something for scalable, and another is something for the privacy. Those two are kind of the major two use cases for ZK. I mean, there's some more use cases include attestation and in the on-chain game, but that's still and also ZK hardware acceleration. But I think all of this can be divided into these two directions. And what we've been focused is privacy. We don't use ZK for scalable. We don't need make our chain become faster or or cheaper using the ZK rollup, because our layer 1 is fast enough. So basically, Manta is a privacy layer 1. We enable the things, the transaction on the Manta faster and cheaper with privacy. And what we're doing that is we have two address system, one is public, one is private. And the private address system, we call it ZK address. But in general, I think, or for the ZK landscape, we are thinking ZK is the best technology to solve privacy issue, because it can make the whole blockchain still decentralized and at the same time for privacy. Because if you are using TE or use other technology, it still can be private, but it have to go through a black box, and that black box cannot be scalable enough to be decentralized. There's more node of this kind of black box, there's more vulnerability for the blockchain. That is not the way it work for the blockchain going to massive adoption, right? You have to be secure. That's the first priority. Yeah, I think generally that's why we bet on ZK, and I can tell a little bit more about the product we have right now and in future, but yeah, maybe I can share later if that works. Yeah.
Sure. And I know that recently Manta Network has created a sort of an alliance called UPA, right? And with other projects like Oasis Network, Secret Network, Orchid, etc. So what's the purpose behind that? And what are the latest developments of the alliance?
Yeah, I mean, we are pleasure to initiate the UPA. It's called the Universal Privacy Alliance, and it's not only for ZK project. As you can see, Oasis is there, but it's also have a lot of ZK projects. They're doing amazing job, like Zcash, like Aztec. Yeah, I think Mina is there. I'm not sure, but generally a lot of ZK and Alio, lot of ZK project, they're doing amazing job. And what we've been focused on is to have build a community to enable builders to talk about privacy, what they thinking about privacy in the in the Web3 space, and how can the privacy product and the privacy infrastructure get massive adoption. And besides of that, the most important is we collect all the resources of the legal side, of the compliance side, and we have, because every project have their legal counsel and have their compliance team, and we try to collect resources together to talk to regulation, to get more impact on the regulation side, so to talk about how we just build this kind of infra, and this infra is not only about money laundering or about this kind of bad behavior. It's more about human rights, and enable some new features for the blockchain, empower the blockchain for mass adoption. Because if you building something for interbank transaction, you cannot do anything without privacy. Yeah.
Right. Well, I see both Dylan and Victor are the true believers of ZK. Yes, Dylan, you wanted something to add on?
So, yeah, Victor, great to be chatting with you here. I know Kenny, and a huge fan of what you're building. I just want to echo one point that Victor mentioned about mass adoption. I think the goal generally for crypto should be every project. What's our end goal? We want to build products that are at least on par with what we can build in Web 2. And historically, Web 3 has been held back. I think in order for us to become on par with Web 2 and go actually beyond what is possible, we need some kind of technology and an enabling tool like zero knowledge. Otherwise, there's no real way of bringing institutions on board. let's take for an example, how could Goldman Sachs ever get onto a decentralized finance, a DeFi exchange? They would potentially be trading in a not in a permissionless pool with the Lazarus group, and if they trade a Bitcoin that has been laundered, that's a big no-no. Zero knowledge proof allows you to create a proper KYC solution that's completely trustless. And beyond that, there's a lot of zero knowledge proof platforms are using off-chain computation, which allows you to deliver a fundamentally new capability within the crypto ecosystem. So that should be our goal. And we believe, we're biased here, obviously, but we think that zero knowledge is going to be that enabling tool that leads us to what would it be, like the third iteration of crypto, Bitcoin being number one, Ethereum programmatic layer number two, and then zero knowledge number three. And we have some incredible projects being built on Ethereum, some incredible projects that are being built as layer ones as well. We got two of them here, actually, Manta and Mina. And we're excited to see what the future holds.
Yeah, well, I mean, from you guys' perspective, ZK obviously is a technology with the same vision as the blockchain, allowing the entire society to have more ownership. So is that something that you'd keen on, Hunter? Is that something that you'd be interested in, or which area do you focus on more?
Yeah. As for me, since I'm an investor and I'm trying to find the future unicorn, so as Victor said, we have two ways. One is scalable, and one is privacy. As for me, so I'm still investing in the infrastructure of the ZK privacy companies, but I more focused on the real needs. So I talked with a lot of Web2 users. I mean the companies, the big companies, that to ask if they really need those products. So I talked with the financial institutions like HSBC, like Deutsche Bank, and some other companies. It's so interesting that they told me that for the interbank transaction, and also for the for all the data, the customers' data, they want to transfer with lower cost and with the anonymous, the name of the customers. So they really need the ZK product to provide this technology. And also I talked with one Hong Kong-based gene test company. It's called Prenetics. It's the same way, because they have a lot of employees. They do the gene work, but they can match the real name with their gene to the database. So that's it's not what the customers want. So they use this technology, to provide the protection for the customer's name. So those are the real needs from the Web2 world. Because if the technology, I mean the ZK technology, want to enter the real world, the Web2 world, for the mass adoption, they really need to have to provide the mature products for the Web2 world, for the Web2 company. So that's the way they can produce the income. I think at the end of the day, the income of the ZK company is the essential of long-term development.
Great. And I think, yeah, I agree. I think nowadays with the market sentiments and, increasingly interest of people, there are a lot of people, that, like developers in the Web2 willing to step in the Web3. So I think besides about ZK technology, I think DID or smart wallets could be interesting to keep an eye on. So what about you, Dylan? I know you were also a VC before Mina. So which segment do you think would be the next hype?
Yeah, so it's a great question. In the ZK space, or just broadly speaking? But I'm a big infrastructure guy. I think infrastructure is going to need to become more productized in this next iteration of builders. Last bull run, we saw really critical pieces stretch to the limit, saw high latency, major gas fees, and major hacks. So I expect that we'll see some core infrastructure pieces that become more productized and focus around specific use cases. So just broadly speaking, this will be staking, delayers, data providers, aggregators, storage tooling, so on and so forth. But as it relates to zero knowledge specifically, I'm excited to see what kind of products are built from the privacy attestation side. So that could be decentralized identifiers, certifications. We have a DEX that compliant DEXs, ZK KYC. But in reality, I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the zero knowledge space, just broadly speaking. And I think there will be a ton of opportunity within, 3 to 4 areas trying to solve some of these bottlenecks. The bottlenecks being, and I'll try to speak a little quickly so everyone else has an opportunity as well. But the first one is really algorithm and circuit improvements, which is really just kind of improving on Planck-based architecture or the Stark-based architecture for software. 2 being computational complexity. This is something that every project in the ecosystem needs to work on, but the computational complexity leads to long proving times and potentially costly as well. So that's something that needs to be worked on. And then finally, zero knowledge proofs require several abstraction and tooling layers that need to be built. So I'm excited for all these elements, and then fixing up some of these bottlenecks, just generally speaking.
Right, but I mean, as everybody knows, that the recent banking crisis, including SVB, Senator Silvergate, has raised a lot of eyebrows. I mean, this is not because we can see how fragile of the banking system is, but also it involves a lot of startups, including Web3 projects. So do you think that it will start to create sort of like a ripple effect, and how would this impact the industry?
Yeah, I'm happy to start off with this. I just want to say, obviously it's a bit of a relief that USDC is okay. The biggest negative here is obviously banking relationships have been impaired in the crypto world, and there's a loss of liquidity. But I see this as potentially, if you asked me 4 weeks ago if I was going to make a bet on whether or not the US banking industry or crypto would be the most volatile space, I would have been wrong. And I think everyone else would have been wrong here too. But, I think this will actually kind of be a very fascinating couple weeks going forward to see if global macro firms are potentially joining in and seeing the Bitcoin narrative as a very stable source of inflationary hedge, or if Bitcoin remains sort of tied in with the rest of the market. So we'll see what happens. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, it's not a great time for the broader economic environment, but could potentially lead more people to decentralized finance and Bitcoin, which generally leads the way for crypto.
Yep. And what about you, Hunter?
Yeah. I think we are waiting for more regulations from the government in the US and also in other parts of the world. As you can see, because of this, what happened in the SVB and the rest of the world, governments are so anxious, and they're releasing more regulations. And that's for us, because of these things happened, we're looking for more decentralized solutions for the CFI and for the assets management. Yeah, and maybe we are going to invest in some projects doing the decentralization. So that's what we are thinking about. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, do you have any advice to give some of the startup founders, Hunter?
Sorry, Arif, I didn't hear you. Please say it again.
Yeah. Can you hear me right now? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, since we're reaching to the end of the discussion, I would like to ask what kind of advice from you can give you to our startup founders in terms of in the bear market and in terms of fundraising.
You mean fundraising? Okay. Yeah. First of all, yeah, it's a good question because I talked with a lot of mega funds today and yesterday since I'm traveling right now. Some of them are from the industry, like finance, and some of them from the crypto native funds like Dragonfly and those. Some of them from the traditional Web2 funds. So they're so different. I think in the bear market, it's better to talk more with the industry investor and the crypto native investor, because they are more focused on the Web3 world, and because they bet on Web3, so they're more willing to raise their hand, and also they are betting with their money, and they are not so focused on the valuation. But for the Web2 funds, I think because they have other alternatives, I mean, they have the cost for the investment. They can either invest in Web3 or not, or they can invest in energy, in other areas. So to some point, I think it's some waste of time, because I think 90% of them are so conservative in this bear market, at least in these 2 months or 3 months. So I'm observing right now. I think it's better. First one is to talk to the right person and save your time. And secondly, I think it's the solidation of your product, because if it's solid, and also you have a great background of your team, I think in the end you will find a good investor to support you. Because for the investors, so it's in a bear market, they need to invest. You can think it as a good time for the investors to have a good valuation and to enter into the good team. So they have to invest. So they would invest in the best team and the best product.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Hunter, Dylan, and Victor, for your time to share your opinions with us. So right now, let's moving on to our project presentation. So each presenter will have 5 minutes to give a pitch, followed with 5 minutes of Q&A. Our mentors will have some questions for each project, and all audiences are welcome to ask questions, or you can leave your questions in the chat box and we will ask for you. There is also a questionnaire. Feel free to fill in along the show and write down the project that you are interested in to connect with. I'm just going to send the link in the chat box. Feel free to fill in the questionnaire. And besides that, our demo day is also on live on YouTube. So there's also a lot of people watching on YouTube. So, well, I'm really excited to bring out our first introducer. Is the first project would be Altiverse. So let's welcome Pat Gerleman. He is the Chief Revenue Officer. Altiverse is an immersive metaverse gaming experience with interconnected worlds, communities, and games. Pat, the floor is yours.
That's great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yes, thanks for the introduction. Again, my name is Pat. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer. Very nice to be here. Thanks to Athena Ventures and HiBlock for including us. A little bit of information about Altiverse before we get started in the presentation. Altiverse is a metaverse gaming experience built on the Unreal Engine. It's been in development for 3+ years at this point, so we've got a lot of ground that we've really kind of made up over this last, over a lot of our competitors at this point. We were part of Binance Labs Season 4 incubation program this last year, where we were one of 14 projects that were included in that. Little high-level overview of the roadmap. We are going to be doing a closed beta at the end of this month, open beta in June, and the project will be going live soon after that. And we're always looking for good quality partners, so feel free to reach out if you like. So with that said, I've got a presentation. It's going to be video related. Felt like the best way to kind of convey Altiverse would be show a video, which I'll narrate over. And this is all pre-alpha in-game footage of the game itself. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we can get started. All right, here we go. Let's first start by briefly explaining what the Altiverse is. Ultimately, the goal here will be an infrastructure for a worldwide metaverse platform where we will provide pre-made and customizable servers for cities, associations, and clubs, interconnecting all these entities and forming a true metaverse. Plus, we'll power the entire economy using our ACE token built on the BNB chain. With Sky City, our metaverse experience, there will be no wallet necessary to play. This will help adoption for the billions of mainstream gamers as we first launch on PC. It will be a simple download and sign up process. There's highly customizable avatars in all the games, in-depth player crafting and building, in-game economies, multiple gameplay types for a wide appeal, NFT marketplace, plus real estate, land purchases, and even built-in voice chat throughout. What you're seeing is all in-game footage from our pre-alpha build. For our roadmap, we are starting this year strong with Sky City closed beta in the March timeframe and open beta in June, as I discussed. We'll be working simultaneously at other game experiences as well within Altiverse. So our strategy is going to roll out in 4 phases. Phase 1 is Sky City, the main hub. Phase 2 is Outpost, a sci-fi shooter game. Phase 3 is Wrecked, a hardcore survival game. Phase 4 are meta servers, which are customizable servers that can be built and sold to any entity around the globe. Let's focus on phase 1, Sky City, as it's the main hub of the Altiverse, from which the other games are accessible. There'll be some limited player versus player action here, a lot of building, socializing, entertainment, events, built-in quests, retail, and a wide variety of mini games. Revenues will come in many forms with land sales, shops, and billboard rentals, token sales, NFT skins, partnerships, and so many other ways. This is the central point of Sky City that we call the epicenter. Our goal is to create a lot of fun and activity around this location to help promote interaction, sales, and exposure for our partners. For example, this area is called the Pit, where users can play against each other, jump in vehicles through obstacles, and battling giant mechs, which we call metamechs, against one another to earn aces daily. All of this makes the epicenter some of the most prime real estate in Sky City, and we are growing daily with recognizable brands from across the world. But by no means is this all of our property. As you can see, as you look around, you'll see on the outer edge of our epicenter, you'll see plenty of skyscrapers with each having a storefront with public access for shops. Each skyscraper has multiple floors, each one being its own property. Just for a reference, there are over 1,000 NFT properties here in this epicenter alone. This is only one of several giant platforms in Sky City that we call Halospheres. Each one will have a different environment, theme, and attractions. We have places like an NFT center where players can buy skins for their characters, equipment, and vehicles, plus even display and sell their own artwork. There'll be areas like a stadium event center, hosting our draft ball games and other large events like esports tournaments. We also have a few creepy caves to explore as well. Getting from one Halosphere to another has utility built in. For example, all vehicles will burn fuel and players will charge those vehicles in-game, paid for in aces. You'll notice on the bottom left of the screen, health, hunger, energy, and thirst meters. As these meters go down, you can buy food to sustain your character at Arnold's Diner, located in the epicenter, or you can forage for food on one of the many different forest biomes with fishing and foraging as an example. Players can also scavenge for materials to build their own houses and craft NFT furnishings for themselves. The Unreal Engine has allowed us to deliver deep engagement with our players on crafting and building mechanics. With that, Sky City is just phase one of the Ultraverse project. Phase two is Outpost. Outpost is a sci-fi shooter game with team deathmatch, battle royale, capture the flag, all set aboard giant space stations that can be owned by guilds and individuals alike, with many options to monetize. Phase three is Wrecked. Wrecked is a hardcore survival game where players will answer the call to look for survivors, only to crash their own ship and find themselves stranded. This game is designed to be much like other popular games such as Rust. What's important is that players can own and launch Wrecked and Outpost games themselves, with the potential for thousands of these servers to be in use concurrently. This brings us to phase four, what's called meta servers. Meta servers are like Sky City that can be easily replicated, customized, and sold to individuals, organizations, and cities around the world, much like a franchise model. Think of Sky City Paris or Sky City Las Vegas. These meta servers will comprise the Ultraverse platform by creating an infinite web of interconnected worlds, games, and experiences. Again, a true metaverse. We're really excited to see what players will be creating over time. The Ultraverse has 20 employees with years of experience working with some of the world's largest gaming and entertainment companies, including Activision Blizzard, Respawn Entertainment, Sony PlayStation, GameStop, GameWorks, and has worked on AAA franchises including Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, God of War, Titanfall, and Overwatch. We have incredible traction with over 80 plus partners across many verticals. 50 of these partners currently occupying storefront in the epicenter, delivering engaging experiences for our community. So with that said, I want to just thank you for our time today and happy to answer any questions you may have. Looks like we've got a speaker here, Joshua.
Hey, actually, I didn't have a question. I was just clapping, but you know, really interesting stuff. We're actually at Super at Oracles. We're very bullish on GameFi. I was just actually giving you a thumbs up. No question.
Oh, excellent! Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well, I guess I do have a question. When do you think when exactly do you think the first game or two is going to be live in mainstream?
So our Sky City, our metaverse platform, we're going to be doing a open beta in the June timeframe, and we plan to be going live very soon after that.
Great.
And then we'll be working simultaneously on other games. So Outpost and Right will come on board. So by the end of the year, we'll have all of those games live at the same time. And the nice thing about Outpost and Right is that they're accessible from Sky City. So what we feel like we're really putting together a great gaming experience is going to be really appeal to a wide variety of gamers, which is great. Versus just having a metaverse experience, having sci-fi shooter and a hardcore survival game really kind of expands the the boundaries of what we think and provides a lot of great experience for gamers alike.
Yeah, in terms of GameFi, I think it is the true gateway for our ecosystem and for our industry. People forget that to enter blockchain, you actually have to have some sort of value in order to enter the game in the first place. But by applying your skill and intention through games, you can earn in-game assets, and that can be a gateway to actually obtaining your first set of digital assets, and then joining kind of blockchains at large. So I think it's going to be very exciting the next few years, in my personal opinion, in the industry.
Yeah, completely agree. I think it's going to be fantastic. It'll definitely be kind of the launch pad for the mainstream gamers, for the big user adoption. So, what we have to, all the Web3 gaming companies have to keep in mind is that you got to build a great game experience first and not just rely on Web3 mechanics, because that's not going to really satisfy the Web2 gamers. So we have to have a great experience, very sticky experience, really bring them in, reach out to the Web2 gamers. And that's where we're really going to see this industry just propel to new heights. Great.
I'll
well,
be
thank
sure to
you
reach
so
out to you
much.
after this call.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thank you all for the time.
Right. Well, I do have okay. So moving on. Thank you, Pat. So moving on to next project is Super Oracles. Let's welcome Joshua. He's the CEO of the project. Supra uses layer 1 principles to secure the Oracle layer. Supra is a fast finality Oracle servicing 40 layer 1, layer 2 ecosystems. Welcome, Joshua.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Really great to be here. A little bit on short notice, and I'm kind of double booked, so I may actually only be here for another 15 minutes. But yeah, Supra is a high throughput layer 1 technology applied to the Oracle problem and solving it, actually. And what's really interesting about what we're doing is, we have the ability to scale multiple ecosystems. So for example, Chainlink, the main incumbent, and really happy that they exist, actually, because they kind of open up the space, and they do, they're kind of pioneers in space, but just because you're first, it doesn't mean you're last. We intend to be the last. And you'll find out that they are on, actually, after all this time, only 11 ecosystems, but we're already on 40 ecosystems in our testnet. And it has to do with our constructions and the way that we organized kind of our network and our design. We are about 2 weeks away from mainnet alpha. I'm excited to share. And we're leading first with actually our verifiable random function service. We have this, by the way, is not just a VRF, a traditional one. We have applied some very novel kind of cryptography to it, including ZK proofs, which we'd be happy to share more a little bit on a follow-up call if anyone's interested. But at a high level, we have deployed Super BFT consensus algorithm in our own blockchain, and we are basically launching with the VRF service first, and then we're launching with the full DORA decentralized Oracle protocol a couple of weeks thereafter. This won't be like widely announced to the entire world, because this is actually a soft launch into mainnet alpha. And once we have that kind of stable for a couple of months, then we'll make a kind of further announcement to the world. In the Oracle problem, there's 3 things that really matter. Number 1 is always security and data accuracy. Number 2 is speed or latency. And then the third one that people don't talk about is actually gas economics. Now, at scale, our protocol is designed to, at scale and decentralized, our protocol is designed to be 10 to 100x more secure than the other incumbents. And this is another really shocking one, which is our speed in terms of time to finality, right, is also expected to be over 10x than the kind of standard kind of incumbent today. And why does speed matter in the Oracle game? When I say speed, by the way, this is speed to finality, or latency to finality. And the reason why that matters so much is because you can't actually use Oracle data unless it's final. And in the event that, you can imagine a future where there's a protocol that uses a faster Oracle that's more accurate and faster to finality versus another Oracle that's much slower and updates much less often, that this can kind of create a price delta and an arbitrage opportunity. In fact, this might create a kind of protocol to protocol arbitrage issue. So it actually, I think, will become necessary for projects to use the more accurate, faster to finality Oracle. But as part of this is the last component is the gas economics, as I mentioned. The gas economics means like, well, what is the cost to publish the data on chain, right? Well, at scale, once again, I want to be clear that we have to fully decentralize before our guarantees kick in. But at scale and decentralized, surprisingly, we were 10 to 14x more gas efficient than the major incumbent as well. This will allow Supra to be, very secure, but while also being very low latency and also being more gas efficient, allowing us to publish our data more often. So protocols can utilize and leverage that to their advantage. And if there's, actually, I do want to make sure that there's time kept here to let the audience ask questions around this, because these are pretty shocking claims. You might want to know, like, how do we do this? So I'm going to stop talking in a couple minutes here so we can actually see if the audience wants to learn more. I do want to make kind of a comment. We started this conversation about ZK technology and threshold, ZK technology primarily. I do want to kind of mention that there's two types of verifiable compute. One is through ZK proofs, and the other is in circuits, et cetera. And the other is through threshold cryptography. Threshold cryptography is basically where you have, in our case, basically you have a rather large randomized subset that's selected that all has to run the computation, and if they can agree on the output and they can threshold sign upon it, that is another form of verifiable compute. There's two things that the industry doesn't talk about too much, which comes to the difference between ZK and threshold. The first one the industry does talk about, which is latency, right? The proof creation, it takes time. It takes a lot of hardware resources, at least today. Threshold cryptography, on the other hand, is very low latency. Like can be sub-second finality, right? So that's one component. The other is the gas to verify the ZK proof versus a threshold signature. It actually, in our experiments and our understanding, threshold cryptography is actually less gas intense and cheaper than verifying a ZK proof on chain, at least in the EVM. So those are two things that actually have us, while we do use ZK technology in various aspects in what we do, we are generally a threshold system. And we do that and we make this conscious choice because we want to be very low latency, meaning sub-second finality, as well as gas efficient as possible. So with that said, we have 5 minutes left. I'd be very happy to answer any questions. We could talk about a roadmap, kind of what's ahead of us the next several months. We expect to, for example, be TGE on exchanges in around 5 or 6 months from now. So any questions, please let me know.
I do have a question. So I think the mainnet alpha is going live towards the end of March. So what is your target and expectation on this launching?
Yeah, so this is so by the way, we call it alpha because it is permissioned. We're going to be fully transparent. We're not going to try to pretend that, oh, this is fully decentralized. This is mission critical infrastructure, right? So we have to take this very step by step. So mainnet alpha is permissioned. It'll be permissioned probably for 4 to 6 months, but we will be progressively decentralizing this year. What we will do is it'll be a soft launch. We'll only choose a handful of chains to deploy on. The first one is going to actually be Arbitrum, because we have a pretty major project there that wants to use our service immediately. And our strategy really is simple right now, is to just really concentrate our focus on servicing a handful of projects for a verifiable random function, as well as our Oracle, and just make sure they love us, and understand that their feedback is making our products much better. We'll do that over and over for the first 10 people, really concentrate our focus and attention to them. They give us a feedback loop to iterate and make our product better. That'll make the next 100 projects much more happy as well. We do have 650 MOUs, signed MOUs. These are not legally binding, but we do have relationships across various ecosystems. Once again, Supra's data is publishing data to 40 layer 1 and layer 2 Cosmos zones, parachains, subnets. In fact, the proliferation of these layer 2s, et cetera, are really good for the Oracle business. So step by step, we'll be deploying to other mainnets one by one.
Right.
I can continue to talk about the roadmap. So Supra does have a single token model, and while this is a proof of stake network, and we have a very interesting kind of layer 1 consensus algorithm inspired Oracle protocol. After the VRF and Oracle is deployed, we're actually rolling out 2 other things. The second component, and this is not public information, it's not on our website yet. You might see it in in a month. We're rolling out Hyperloop, which is our cross-chain communication technology. Instead of bridges, we're doing tunnels. And we have Hyperloop technology has the attributes of being low latency, highly secure, and also we have some innovations. So you just have to wait till we kind of announce those. The last component of what Supra is doing is an automation network. Our thesis is this. Today, blockchains are kind of like the ENIACs, like ENIACs are like the first computer that was the size of a room, could barely do anything. They're kind of like ENIACs today, but in the future, they will become super machines. They'll be doing more things. So Supra's final vision, and you'll see that in the months to come, we're going to be dropping Oracle from our name. We own Supra.com, and Supra.com, Supra and .network X, Y, and Z. Supra is going to be a singular infrastructure with native Oracle, with cross-chain communication, and with native automation, a decentralized if this, then that. We're actually building a deterministic system that can actually become what we call it an intra layer, Supra as a layer between layer 1s and layer 2s, getting our Oracle data from the outside world into other ecosystems in a very secure, gas efficient, and low latency manner. And then 2, also allowing ecosystem to ecosystem communicate with each other through Hyperloop. And then finally, automation and decentralized if this and that can actually facilitate what we call conditional transactions, where we will actually stipulate various predicates in the transaction itself, such as, hey, on date before January 1st, or on January 1st, midnight 2024, if Bitcoin is over 50,000, but Ether is under 2,000, buy more Ether. So we can have these automatic kind of type of transactions. So that's our kind of roadmap, into the future. It'll take us 1.5 years to fully get there. In about 2.5 months, we will be doing a launch on like Republic platform or CoinList or something like this. This is in the works. And then once again, token exchange listing about 3 months thereafter. So I think my time is up, but yeah, that's the high level of what's going on at Supra today.
Right. Thank you, Joshua. And for people that watching our demo day live on YouTube, you can also send me messages if you have any questions about the project. So upcoming let's welcome Ukeme. He is the co-founder of centralized communication collaboration platform for online communities. Hello, Ukeme.
Hello, thank you for the opportunity. I'll be sharing my screen now.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Hello, everyone. I'm Ukeme Okuku, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Gamik, a blockchain. We're a Binance-backed company building a Web3 focused social platform for Africa and the world beyond. We originally started as a gaming guild, recognizing the potential for blockchain gaming to connect Africans with financial opportunities in the Web3 space. But after establishing ourselves as Africa's largest gaming guild, we determined that the user experience for Web3 could actually improve vastly. As a result, we pivoted and then we built a platform I'm about to pitch to you. So what is Gamik? Gamik is a communication and collaboration platform for friends, gamers, creators, and blockchain enthusiasts. On our platform, we offer communities a comprehensive suite of management solutions that merge the convenience of Web 2 and with the advantages of Web 3. We do this by consolidating communication channels with financial and operational management tools. And we have created the ultimate platform-based solution for online communities looking to engage with Web3 products and services. In creating this product, our ultimate mission is to help accelerate and ease the onboarding process for the next generation of Web3 users. The next billion blockchain users are not going to write 12 words on a piece of paper because normal people don't just do that. We want to encourage blockchain adoption as a means to improve socioeconomic opportunities available to global community. So as I just mentioned, the problem that we seek to solve with gaming is poor user experience for online communities that want to try and engage with Web3 products and services. This is largely as a result of two key factors. For starters, Web3 user experience is fragmented across different platforms. To get involved with a given dApp or blockchain product, a typical user might access a communication platform like Discord and a wallet service like Phantom. They then have to use another platform like CoinGecko to manually track token prices and purchase and swap token using both centralized exchanges like Binance or decentralized exchanges like Uniswap. All in all, the current way of doing things in Web3 needs a facelift. Inefficiency and fragmentation have actually created a major barrier to entry into the blockchain space, particularly for non-crypto native. This inefficiency is something that we've actually had experience with from actually onboarding over 18,000 gamers in Africa to Web3 gaming. So to solve this problem, we are building gaming to make it easier than ever for online communities to engage with blockchain products and services. We have achieved this by actually simplifying the process of Web2 communities to access and leverage the latest blockchain innovation. So rather than jump across multiple platforms, our communities can actually chat and operate in the same place, and with both better security and monetization opportunity. On our platform, we combine the advantage of blockchain technology with the conventional Web2 community interface, so creating a seamless environment where users can actually interact and enjoy the benefit of Web3 advancements. So imagine Discord, but purpose-built for Web3 in a single platform. So I'll be showing you what the platform actually looks like because we are actually live. I'll be logging in. For most users, they can log in with either their socials or with Web3 native login. So I'll be using my socials to log in. So I'm automatically logged into the platform, and this is what the platform actually looks like. So users get access to a communication platform with Discord-like functionalities, and they also get access to an integrated wallet that doesn't require the users to leave the platform to manage their assets or purchase and swap tokens across chain. We also have built-in tooling coming on the way, so communities can actually schedule and host live events from gaming tournaments and to live audio conversation. So we are also going to be having popular Web2 features like video sharing, live streaming, both with advanced crypto integration, and to add Web3 functionality and increase the use cases for the platform. So far, we have actually released our platform in beta, and it's now available on web and Android. And 15 hours ago, we just announced the launch of our iOS app. So our partners actually cost across different sectors. So we have partners in payment platform, guilds, game developers, dApps, and ecosystem, and more. Our value generation actually cuts across different parts. It's self-explanatory. While we are actually waiting to monetize the platform until that time is right, when we actually do monetize, many gaming transactions from login, purchase to fiat on-ramp and off-ramp will require nominal payments to the platform. We also have ticket events, which will incur a larger fee, which gaming will also take a cut from. While the revenue generated from premium subscription is self-explanatory, we also explore or would explore advertisements, which will offer to projects who actually want to do that. Our initial plan is to allow communities to advertise their spaces on our community search page. And meanwhile, third parties, advertisers will also be able to advertise in areas of the platform outside the community space to ensure we maintain a quality user experience. The gaming team is also exploring of offering a freemium version of the gaming turbo where communities can actually opt in to view ads within their space in exchange for access to premium feature. The founding team is a product-oriented team with background from companies like OKX, CLV Wallet, Sterling Bank, Universal Insurance, ABCA, and Bird Money. With years of experience in blockchain development, professional software development, we have deep insight in experience in SaaS, fintech, and mobile platform solutions. So the platform is currently live right now, both on iOS and Android. So you can actually download the app and take a spin and give us your feedback. Thank you. I'm open for questions.
Thank you, Ukeme. I received some of the messages. So you mentioned that you're planning to make the community more localized, consolidated, and immersive. How's the partnership with the communities right now?
So can you repeat that? I didn't hear you clearly.
Oh, you mentioned that you are planning to make the community more localized, consolidated, and how's the partnership with communities right now?
So we have unique partnership with different communities. So depending on what sector the community is focusing on, and we provide tooling for that community. So with gaming communities, we provide tooling that allows gamers to be able to interact with blockchain gaming. Currently, we have a wide variety of partners that are providing us with access to APIs and SDK to allow us to do this. And we are actually still open to get more partnership that will allow us to provide as much immersive experience to our users, as we want our users to, our platform to be the gateway to Web3.
Right. And you are trying to attract users from Web2 to Web3. So what do you think of the barriers from Web2 users to get involved in the Web3 ecosystem? And what's your solution?
So one of the biggest barriers for Web2 users to cross into Web3 have always been the onboarding process. A lot of users have not had experience with platform where you basically have to save a secret key. That has always been a huge of an issue, and the onboarding process requires you to hop between different platforms. So for a given user, they set up a trust wallet, have to write down 12 words or either save their private key, then sign up on a centralized exchange. So they are having to leave to another platform. Want to trade tokens that are not listed on centralized exchange, they have to go to a decentralized exchange. So the learning curve is really high for these users, and not everyone is that tech savvy. Most people are familiar with Web2 applications like Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, and Telegram. So what thing that we're actually trying to do to reduce the barrier to entry is give them that same user experience. So for someone who have used the legacy application signing up on our platform, it will feel natural for them to be able to understand how the platform works. And our platform, if you use social login, we actually provide a semi-custodial wallet for our users, which they can actually export the private keys if they want. So we actually handhold our users through the process of actually interacting with Web3 from 0.0 to 100.
Okay, thank you, Ukeme. I think your time is up. So let's move on to next project. It's called Wood Digital. Let's welcome Marco and Roger. Marco is the head of the business development. Wood Digital, it unleashes the power of NFTs from attention-based to engagement-driven economies. So the floor is yours, Marco.
Thank you guys for having us here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah, Marco, I think you have to turn on your camera, I think.
Yep. Okay, here we are. So thanks, guys, for having us here, and we are proud to present our project to all of you tonight. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So our digital is about maximizing engagement with a gamified brand loyalties powered by NFTs. Our economy is transitioning from attention-based to engagement-driven economy. We are here to help brands to understand and lead this transition. As you can see here, guys, brands are failing to follow the rules of engagement. Customer retention is below 20%. Placing ads in front of customers over and over as a means of retaining them, it is not working anymore. We have NFTs now, and NFTs are a great marketing tool that can offer viewability, liquidity, and interoperability to tackle those problems. Old school loyalty membership are failing to achieve customer retention and to properly engage the members. To keep customer engaged, a dynamic system powered by NFTs for engaging them, it's highly required. So we come to our solutions. We are here to offer outsourced NFT utilities, basically, allowing brands to create their own custom digital space, which is a new concept of loyalty membership we call clan. Then launch campaigns to distribute value to their user and allow those NFTs to plug into our own gamified experience to engage with the users and boost the loyalty. On the other side, for the brand customers, our digital provides a one-step place to earn, stake, lend, and borrow, trade in general, and play with any kind of NFT. This slide contains a video, so feel free to watch it later on this demo to better understand how we can provide outsourced NFT utilities. Now I am going to accompany you through our products. The first one, it's a custom heroes. With custom heroes, brands can create their customized NFT, a custom hero, which is our avatar, and distribute to their users those NFT to more effectively engage them. We have an RPG game where brands can leverage the battle system to create their in-game campaigns to better engage with their users. What's more, our RPG battle system has a very innovative mode, which we call player versus staker, where less active players can participate to the battles by staking their heroes as an NPC, non-playable characters, to battle against other real players. We also have a rental marketplace that offers also zero collateral rental, where NFT owners can rent out their earned rewards for having extra income. And then last but not least, we have an NFT Play, which is a Steam-like platform that offers one place for users to explore and access different NFT utilities, rent and trade NFTs, and participate in different campaigns designed by all brands that we collaborate with us. So now our CEO, Roger, will introduce you with more details about our business model.
Okay, thank you, Marco, for taking the pitch. And now let me just talk about the rest. Hold on, just let me share my screen. Hold on. How can I open up? Hold on, just like this one. Okay, this one. Okay, so all digital has a typical B2B2C model. Okay, and we can basically charge from both the brands and their users, and meanwhile to turn the brand users into our game players, as you can see from here. And there are several ways that we can basically charge, from both sides. And now let me talk about our go-to-market strategy. So we actually adopt a free-to-own approach to basically power the lower barrier user acquisitions. Okay, so we have a 30 Genesis key, the Genesis odd heroes available to distribute at both B2B and B2C level. So at B2B level, okay, we are currently actually trying to partner with multiple, strategic partners. And for each strategic partners, we actually create a custom, we create certain custom heroes with their logos on the heroes and to distribute to their communities, okay, through those brands. And meanwhile, at the B2C level, we actually create this organization called Hero Association, and we are looking for those the people with certain influence in the crypto space, and we invite them to actually come to us and tell their stories. Okay, we call this hero stories, and then we can publish their stories and give them the June 10s. So through the free-to-own strategy, we actually, we can build a very strong MVC at both B2B and B2C level. So after those people get the heroes, okay, those Genesis heroes, a try before you buy strategy will be adopted to actually, let the early adopters to try out our game and platform. And this is our competition. So as you can see, Auditor has certainly has competitions, but things like we don't have too many, direct competitors. Most of them are the indirect competitors. So although we have competitions, but our product offerings and value propositions are unique and not comparable. I want to mention about Galaxy. So right now, as you can see, Galaxy, I mean, they are doing something quite similar to us, but not necessarily the same, because we are also building our game layer, okay, the rental and our own games. So currently, we're actually trying to partner with Galaxy and to co-create the campaigns to, to leverage their network to bootstrap from our side. So Auditor currently, has 20+ core team members across different domains. So me as CEO, my background is primarily in the finance business side, and Sam, he's primarily in the tech side. Steve, he's on the game side. So we have a very balanced team. Steve, he has involved in multiple games, over 25 years in the game side. Some big names like, for example, Final Fantasy. So he involved in those games before. Okay. And we also have a balanced team of advisory team across different domains, like marketing, legal, economics, finance, business operations, as you can see from here. Auditor currently has 40+ partners, investors and partners. So here are some of our partners. We also got the grant, from Ocean Protocol and Polygon. So let me show you about our outcome-driven roadmap. We actually have 5 phases. The first phase, we call this foundation phase, and basically we're pretty much done this phase. Currently, we're at the bootstrapping phase. Okay, and the bootstrapping phase, basically, we are trying to partner with different strategic partners and trying to bootstrap our network. So Auditor, we actually adopt a very unique economic model. We call this play for honor. As you can see from here, compared to models like play to earn, X to earn, or PFP, we are both user inclusive, and the token price is more sustainable. So we adopt one token model. All tokens have 3 billion total supply. This is allocation of the token, as you can see from here. So 30% will go for investors, 24% for campaign collaborations, 22% for core team, 10% for association allies, 5.1% for advisors, 2.9% for reserve. So all tokens have 3 primary use cases, utilities. So the very first utilities that we're gonna activate, we call this work tokens. So basically, the brands can stake all tokens to create the in-game items as reward for their campaigns. And then we will launch our own rental and trading marketplace, and all tokens will be used as currency in those marketplaces, also for the hero minting. So heroes in our ecosystem will play the role as like memberships. The users will come and then they can mint the heroes. We call this mutation, and later we will upgrade this into the breeding. Okay, so basically you need to have our current heroes to mutate a new hero, and then you have to use all tokens for that. And then lastly, we're gonna launch a DAO, so all tokens will be used at the governance. But one thing to notice, we actually adopt an indirect voting system. So that's why we have the hero association. So you can use the all tokens to vote for your favorite candidates in our hero association to represent you to speak, okay, to vote in the DAO proposal. We're currently raising, we just get started with this new fundraise. So we're currently raising $2 million at 33 million valuation, vesting 10% at TG, followed by 1 year vesting quarterly. If you guys are interested about our deal, feel free to reach out to us after this pitch session, and we can share more details. We have a detailed tokenomics doc to share. And this is the use of funds, 60% for dev, 30% for BD marketing community, and 10% for legal admin. And as a new investor, so you have the opportunity to be part of this revolutionary change in the way brands interact with their customers, invest in the future of engagement with all digital today. And thank you guys for this pitch. Yeah.
Thank you, Roger and Marco. I do have received some of the questions, but unfortunately 10 minutes is up. So I will send you some of the questions I received privately.
Sure.
So thank you guys again. So moving on to the next project, Auditor's New Vision Technology. Let's welcome Robert Law. He is the head of product. Auditor facilitates the efficient and secure management of virtual assets through advanced technology and as-per support. So welcome, Robert.
Hi, thanks, Arif, and thanks for having me here in HiBlock and Student Ventures. We're honored to be a speaker on today's event. Well, actually, interestingly, we might be a little bit different from the previous speakers and maybe the afterwards because our backgrounds are slightly different. We are actually from a more traditional finance institution. That our product is a trading platform that is actually a aggregator to centralized exchanges other than Web3 contracts and those protocols. Because here's the background. Actually, back in 2011, we were a licensed trading corp in Hong Kong, and actually have been doing hedge fund and family offices and those traditional trading since then. And until 2021, we decided to give a try on crypto. Back then, our traders actually find out that try to source some trading platforms in the market, and actually those back at that time, they find out those very crypto native ones actually not suitable for traditional traders that has experience, say in Wall Street or whatever. So, and we also have a tech team of around 20 people. So we decided to develop our own. And that was launched after several months, that's like mid 2021 something. And back in then, we've been doing algo trades, but we've been doing arbitrage trades and generating reports because our fund does not accept those formats from different exchanges. They do not get, they don't know what those fees, what are those airdrop and platforms or whatever those are. They cannot figure it out. So we unify all those formats and tell them how to calculate all those stuff related to crypto trading. It wasn't until mid 2022 that a local company, quite big one, in Hong Kong, who are those doing VCs and developing games, so with the A's, that company. So we were been talking to their treasury team, and they heard that we just like read a talk and chatting, saying that we have this kind of system. We've been doing our strategies based on this system, and we were very surprised that their treasury team are actually managing their tokens by Excel. So we said, oh, why you didn't give it a try as well? So and they decided to adopt the system as their daily managing system. Then afterwards, they asked us if we can develop in some marketing strategies for their portfolio companies, because well, they have some hundreds of portfolio companies, and their treasury team does not want to manage their tokens, but those companies asked them because the market makers in the street actually charges quite high, and those projects have these questions that you are only providing some liquidity and placing all those order books on exchanges and don't actually know what you're doing there. So they asked us if we can provide a tool based on our trading system to them. So, and based on this need, we actually developed this kind of easy market making tools and also have this OMS, PMS system that's connected to centralized exchanges, so that projects can simply do liquidity providing and also like TWAPing and automatic trading or building volumes based on some simple interfaces that has been using by some of the companies. And actually today we are actually running not looking for investments today. Actually, just try to let everybody know, okay, there's some kind of solutions here that you might not need an actual market maker to perform this kind of liquidity providing solution. You can actually do it with your own. and so that you do not need to actually put the tokens, give the tokens to market makers. Because on our system, you just connect the API key that provided by the exchange, and you can then create some very easy bots to use. That's basically our system, and within that, you can also define some risk control things. We can generate reports. There's also some needs from that company, because the internal team needs to like summarize their tradings every week. So we have these kind of reports given their balances and P&Ls and base statements to whatever their asset management requirements. That's it. We're really this kind of trading solution provider.
Thank you, Robert. So I have received some of the questions. You already work closely with Animoca, Hashkey, and many clients like Bloomberg platform will ask the feedback from users to improve their system. So could you please list some crucial and impressive customized function requirements that put forward by them?
Yeah, so basically, we actually start from this position like OMS format, and they says if we can display every trace from them, and including those cancel one, aborted one. This is their customized requirements. Another one is we provide this easy bots, right? And they also like provide also to develop, customize the interface for them to really define some details of the market making, so that their professional traders can, within this interface, they can do some very comprehensive market making strategies that include some hedgings across exchanges. And also some report screens for them. This is I just mentioned, like every week they need to report to in the meeting, so that we just let us know what kind of data they need, and we extract this to them every week. And also like because our system in the beginning that was an internal one, and when we give the solution to Animoca, that is actually not deploying on their server, and we charge on like a SaaS basis. And after that, they say that, oh, we might want a package that deployed locally, then we also do that for them. And all these can be offered for any further projects whoever wish to use it.
Right. And what is your solution to make sure that the security of API integration?
Yes, that's a very good question. So our API, you can see that this is I'm not really a tech guy, so this is from a studio. So that's a asymmetric encryption on a cloud service, somehow named KMS, so that actually we cannot view this API and secrets stored when we're using it. That the exposure window is very short. It's only being used when we launch a system, but that will not be continuously exposed to the whole running environment.
Right. Thank you. I guess there was no more questions from my end. I didn't receive more questions. If I do, I will send you privately and in the chat. So thank you, Robert.
Sure. Thank you very much,
And
Eric.
moving on to next, thank you. And moving on to next project, Pond5. Let's welcome the CEO and co-founder of Pond5, Wesley Kane. Pond5 delivers an all-in-one NFT plus DeFi solutions that take care of everything related to NFT finance and provides revenue streams for all types of market participants. The floor is yours, Wesley.
Yeah, hey, Arif, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, this is Wesley, and yeah, thanks for Athena, thanks Arif, thanks Susan, thanks for having us. Yeah, so that I'll kickstart my presentation. So I'm Wesley, and I am CEO and co-founder of Pound5. Yeah, so we are quite thrilled to present our all-in-one NFT system that allows you to trade, lend, and earn with your NFTs. So at Pound5, actually, we aim to revolutionize the Web3 space by building an advanced NFT financial system that we want to integrate NFT into DeFi playbook. And our vision is to become the top comprehensive solution for NFT finance because we want to generate revenue opportunities for every market participant, not exclusive to big whales, not exclusive to institutions, but everyone. And we value creating an actual secondary market for NFTs. So for every market participant, you can unlock the full potential of your digital assets. And for now, especially NFT. So we have two product lines actually. So we have Pound5 OTC and Pound5 Pro. For Pound5 OTC, it is an institutional use case that we want to deliver customizable liquidity solutions, just like how institutions, they are doing liquidity in real world, we bring it to Web3. So it features P2 crowd lending models like you can borrow against your NFTs with several lenders. So it will have a higher fund P2P utility. So you can put several NFTs into this basket, top up with different ERC20 tokens to maximize all your capitals. And we also allows you to have a customized loan terms with different raising types and have a different repayment method, such as your mortgage, you can put it into installment plan in this crowd lending models on Pound5. And also we provide SDK and API support for many layer 1, layer 2 projects. We allow them to easily build their native financial system. So you can imagine that a big use case will be a pound shop sitting at the corner of Decentraland. That is through our SDK, and they can they can build their financial system on top of us. And another product line is Pound5 Pro. It is our flagship product that maximizes NFT market size by creating an actual secondary market. So such as it features real-time NFT trading. So you are experiencing something like Uniswap user experience. And also you will have an instant NFT borrowing with a zero liquidation risk. And most important thing is you will have an NFT money market. So where you can earn with your NFT and ERC20 tokens. But at the same time, we also serve some use case for your rare NFTs. So you can have an upfront payment when selling on Pound5. You will capture appreciation value while you can still have an instant monetization. And last but not least is that you will be seeing short selling NFTs where you can leverage your position to profit in the downturn market. So this is something that in lack of today's NFT market, but Pound5 would deliver this functionality. And I think I will give you guys a quick demo of our Pound5 Pro. So this is our product that is ready to go live in the very beginning of April. So with Pound5 Pro, you can trade your NFT just like trading on Uniswap. So let's say this NFT, you can easily sell it into 71 ETH. And at the same time, you can also buy any of the NFT on our market directly at a floor price. So trading NFTs can become just like trading on Uniswap. And another use case will be, hey, let's say you want to sell your NFT, but at the same time earn some kind of like an instant cash flow. Here is how you can do it on Pound5. When you sell it, let's say 2 times higher than the floor price, you will still receive an upfront payment, which means that you will obtain the upper value while earning some instant cash flow. So you just need to pay back this upfront payment when the duration ends, then you can retrieve this NFT. And another use case will be, hey, how about you borrow against your NFT? So in Pound5, borrowing against your NFT will deliver you 100% LTV. So you will totally borrow against that 68 ETH based on this NFT. And there will be no liquidation risk because you just need to pay back after 6 months. And the most important thing and most interesting thing is you will have a money market which is serving just like Aave and Compound, but now you can use your NFT. So this money market will allow you to do everything to integrate the NFT into DeFi playbook and also unleash the value of those NFTs. So this is the product that we are going live. And our models actually is simple. Our models is all in one and one for all. We believe that our platform will have massive user adoption because it is not only about collectors, investors, traders, borrowers, but also you will be seeing market makers, institutions, short sellers, and retailers, and of course, even more. So we are now in private round fundraising and looking forward to onboarding our backers to become our ecosystem partners. And we will go live in coming weeks. So we welcome you to become part of our next generation financial infrastructure and become one of our partners. Yeah, so that is about PoundFi. Let me know if you have any question.
Thank you, Wesley. Yeah, I did receive some of the questions.
Hey,
So
Wesley.
NFT-Fi enables NFT holders. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Wesley. Pritam here. I'm building Zone.io and I love the money market part. Wanted to check in terms of collateral, do you accept real world token as collateral, asset-backed tokens, or you only go for NFTs?
I think it will be step by step. So in our OTC market, will start with blue chip NFTs and mainstream ERC20 tokens because this is the main use case for institutions to borrow on-chain and off-chain. So we support that at first place. But let's say if legal allows, and let's say when the market are more and more mature, those kind of asset types will be expanding. So let's say it is not only about ERC721, ERC20, but it can also have some tokenized securities, can also have other kind of like asset class. So I think that will be in the end be one of the basket because it is a customizable loan, which is happening on PoundFi OTC. So yeah, in the end, we will support the maximized asset class.
Okay, great.
Yeah, let me know if you guys have any other questions. Love to answer.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, I'm Philip. I'm a co-founder of Xerox Scope, and I do have a question. Can you go back maybe 1 or 2 slides? I'm referring to the slide. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's really not go back, go forward. Can you go to the next slide? Number 5.
Yes, this one.
Yeah, this one. I do have a question in terms on how you handle the price discovery of NFTs.
Okay, I think yeah.
Yeah, because and it's this, and it is related to how do you handle the accurate pricing of an NFT when this NFT is going to be collateralized. Specifically, how do you avoid price manipulation for the creation of a bad debt in a margin position?
Got it. So I think it will take some time. So maybe we can have another call to discuss this part. But I think our vehicle is about, we call P token. So for each collection in PoundFi, it will always have its own P token. So for Bored Ape, it will have its own P BAYC. For Punk, it will have its own P Punk. So this price can be directly, or let's say this ERC20 tokens can be easily traded on Uniswap AMM. So if there is any of the price difference between PoundFi or let's say on Uniswap, all of the price difference will be easily manipulated and managed by high frequency traders and arbitrageurs. So they will help us to manage the price difference between P token and NFT floor price. So in the end, you will find out P token will become a good reference for NFT floor price for each collection. And based on that concept is that those P token will be easily generated and burned and used in these 4 modules, which is circulated between flash trade, consign, leverage, and lending and borrowing. So actually the price can be directly getting from Uniswap.
Okay, let me see if I understood what you're trying. I'm going to repeat basically what you're trying to say and summarize it. So for you, in order to solve this problem of the accurate price discovery and avoid the shortcomings of, let's say, manipulation and the creation of bad debt, which is usually what one of the biggest risks out there when it comes to collateralization, right? Like doing some sort of flash loan and then you basically get liquidated yourself, which is a bad debt because then the amount that you were borrowing exceeds the collateral in itself. I'm just saying this in case people are not familiar with the bad debt. So you're creating, let's say, an abstraction on a different layer or adding some extra steps where you're going to have the P token. And this P token in itself is going to be used as the price discovery. Sorry, this part wasn't quite clear for me. So you have the NFT in itself, and this NFT is hidden away by another token, which is the P token. Am I right?
Yes. So when you sell your NFT, actually you are directly selling into P token, and this P token will directly swap into Uniswap based on our routers. So you can see that you are getting 1000 PBAYC, but at the same time, you can swap it into ETH directly in 71 ETH. Okay, and at the same time, let's say you want to borrow against this NFT. It is also based on this P token, but we will get a cutoff just like a withholding interest. So it is not zero interest to borrow against this P token. There is still some of the cost. So it is not zero interest, not zero cost, but we allows you to still uphold this ownership during your long term. It is not asking you to give it up. And also for consign is that, yeah, you're selling it, and also you also have a chance to earn some instant cash flow. And for lending market, it is most important thing is you supply NFT, it is the same thing, you supply P token into this lending market. And for all the liquidation, actually, it is easily to handle because if liquidation happens, this NFT will directly flows to this NFT vault. And in this NFT vault, everyone can use 1000 P token to buy this liquidated NFTs. So in the end, what happened is that all the risk, all the bad debt is already absorbed by those P token valuation. So you don't need to worry that the ETH providers are absorbing those bad debt. They are, let's say, the liquidated NFTs will be sitting there because people need to pay higher than the real market value. In PoundFi, all the liquidation will happen at market value. So that is how we absorb those bad debt, and we make sure that there is no liquidation risk.
Who's the counterparty for these liquidations?
No counterparty. Your counterparty is P token, and this P token will directly be absorbed by those market makers, or let's say those liquidators, arbitrageurs, and high frequency traders. So those price difference will be immediately managed, manipulated by those arbitrageurs. So any of the price difference between P token and floor price, they will come here to arbitrage. So you will see that there's a lot of liquidation happens, then a lot of people will buy P token and to sell it into OpenSea. And also if there's an opposite way, people will buy it on OpenSea, dump into PoundFi, and dump into Uniswap.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the comments.
All right, thank you, Wesley. I do receive some of the questions, but unfortunately I cannot ask right now because time is up. I will send you privately, but thanks again for the presentation. And next, thank you. And next coming up, let's welcome Harish. He's the co-founder and CEO of Superworld. Superworld is the virtual world in AR, users to create, discover, and monetize content in real-world locations and own the world around them. Welcome, Harish.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me here. I'm going to talk today about our vision for Superworld, the progress we've made, and how we'd love to have partners like those in this room and others involved in our mission to enhance people's real lives and build a better world. And we're also raising capital now. So if what we're talking about interests you, please reach out. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and tell you more about Superworld. So in the last few years, we've all realized that we've been more virtual. We've been on Zoom calls like we are today. Gaming's gone up. Our sociologically understood that we might want to be more remote. But at the same time, it's very important to understand that blockchains are vital to being more virtual and that we need ownership of the virtual areas around us, the geospatial property around us, wherever we live, as well as to be able to own the content that we're creating and go very direct to our customers. And so blockchains are very vital to this. It provides secure ownership and property rights, provide us with this ownership economy, transparency, integrity. And then on the technology side in general, the augmented reality market is growing very fast. We've seen, advertising revenue forecasts increase drastically because of the fact that this type of content is so compelling. Software has entered the market from every player over the last 5 years, providing really easy ways for developers to create AR content and even scan from LiDAR on their phones to create 3D content. And with generative AI, it's only getting better and faster. And hardware is coming very soon to make all of this more native to our surroundings. So it's going to be a very exciting time, not only to create AR content, but to view AR content in real world locations. And to be technically clear, the type of content that can be placed in real world locations is anything from AR, VR, MR, WebGL, audio, haptics. So any kind of content can be placed in real world locations. I call it AR because it covers real world locations and can be accessed from the real world anywhere. And so our vision for Superworld is how can we enable users to be able to own the world around them? Pokemon Go came out 6 years ago. Niantic, with that title, created a franchise that really, became the fastest company in history to hit $1 billion in revenue. They did it in 7 months with that game. And all of that monetization takes place in real world locations. And so in Superworld, we divided the surface of the earth into 64 billion properties of virtual real estate covering earth, 0.01, 0.01, longitude, latitude. So you can become a stakeholder anywhere on earth. And if you own those locations, you benefit from all the monetization that happens there: advertising, e-commerce, digital commerce, data, analytics, gaming, DeFi, any monetization. So if you like New York City or London or Tokyo, anywhere in the world, you can own geospatial land priced at 0.1 Ether to start. So $150. Once you buy it, you can reprice it to whatever you want, but you become a stakeholder in that location. And then what we're enabling anyone to do is to create, discover, and monetize any type of content anywhere, including NFTs, DeFi, gaming, anything, anywhere. And so if you want to sell a product, you can sell a product in Times Square or in Central Park in New York. And if I own the real estate there, I benefit from the activity and the monetization that you're producing or another brand is producing. So there can be an infinite number of filters of content on the world anywhere. So you can become a stakeholder as well as you can interact with your customers anywhere in the world and discover, create, and monetize content. We've had 3,500% growth since 2020. We've made $5 million in the last 2 years, all organically. We have a very, very exciting future in terms of what's coming for us. The augmented reality application is live and is always constantly being upgraded. We want to make it super easy for anyone to add content to real world locations. That's our focus. We can create digital assets from our NFT marketplace. Our focus on the digital asset side is how can we unlock real world utility from digital assets. I'll show you an example of how you buy property. It's very easy. Just come into our platform, click and purchase. It's as easy as that. Super easy to do that. Super Citizens and Superworld have been hosting real world events, placing AR content in real world locations, and selling NFTs all over the world in real world locations. You can come to Times Square, click on an NFT and buy it. This is an example of placing AR content in a museum during Miami Art Week. So we have artists from around the world place content in the convention center on the beach in Miami. You can click, and in this case, we went to Super Rare and you can buy the NFT. So basically placing content that's accessible, that's monetizable anywhere. That's our goal and focus. This was a house that was placed in Superworld that someone is renting. You can click here, you can view it, and you can rent this property. We did a 3D yacht that showed up at the Monaco Yacht Club. Someone bought the yacht and got access to the Monaco Yacht Show. This was art placed in real world locations for a not-for-profit fundraiser. This was AR at a concert. And again, this was the, artwork placed, a very big artwork placed into a convention center that can be viewed in AR. So everything's possible in terms of what can be done. The revenue model goes from digital commerce, e-commerce, gaming, advertising, data, analytics. My co-founder and I are serial entrepreneurs. I started previously Rogue Initiative, which is a movie studio, film, television, gaming, VR, interactive entertainment. My co-founder there produced Call of Duty, Modern Warfare series, and Ghosts. And my production partner is Michael Bay, the action director. Previous to that, I was the first biz dev early employee at TopTal, which is a top talent marketplace in the world. It's a unicorn company. And also before that, worked in venture capital, investment banking, and management consulting. My co-founder, Max, co-founded Xfire and sold it to Viacom. But he's done Fizzle, Sliver, Skit, and Toonstar, all venture-backed companies, and previously worked in Stephen Hawking's department at Cambridge. We work together on the YouTube platform. That's how we know each other. So we have another media company in our background. We have some of the best advisors in the world, Dr. Bob Metcalf, who's the founder of Ethernet, creator of Metcalf's Law. We are all about network effects at Superworld, and Bob's a testament to our understanding of how these network effects work. Stephen Wolfram's on our board. He's the top AI computer scientist in the world. Nathan Gower, who founded digital assets at IBM. We're looking at a lot of enterprise applications with our technology. We're proudly supported by some of the top investors in the space: Tim Draper, Draper Goren Home, SOSV, Outlier, White Paper Capital, Cadenza, Redbeard Ventures, and we've been all over the press. We were just in the New York Times again last week. I think we've been in the New York Times 5 times in the last year. We've been in The Economist. We're covered all the time because our mission is, how can we enhance people's real lives with this technology, give them livelihoods, and how can we build a better world? And that's what we want to find: partners and investors who believe in that and want to partner with the overall ecosystem. We're raising a seed financing right now. I'm raising around $2 million. We have lots of interest and commitments, but I'm looking for partners who understand this mission and want to help us continue to blast off here. Again, I'll end by saying Superworld's a virtual world mapped on top of the real world, focused on enhancing people's real lives and ultimately to build a better world. And a lot of people in the mainstream audience are confused about how to get into NFTs and AR and VR and metaverse. But when they come to Superworld, they understand places they live. They underplan places they have a business or places they go on vacation. They buy those places in Superworld, and the next thing they want to do is they want to create NFTs. They want to get into DeFi. They want to get into gaming, AR, VR. And so we've created this gateway into the metaverse for the mainstream customer. And that's why we have so much interest from different partners. So would love to talk to you about how we can partner and how you can get part of our investment round. Thank you again.
Thank you, Arash. Thank you for the presentation. Unfortunately, the time is up. But I will send you the questions in private. So let's move on to next project. To Zoth. Pritam is the founder of Zoth. Zoth brings DeFi liquidity to real-world assets and help with capital constraints in emerging markets. Welcome, Zoth.
Hello, hey Arif, and thanks everybody to have us here. I'll start with a brief introduction of the team. Me and my co-founder, we both are ex-ABN Web advisor, or what known in China as Harbin Beer. We have been building fintech and Web3 initiatives for ABN Web over the last few years. At Zoth, I'll start with how we started Zoth. Zoth primarily started with our experience in building businesses across Advisor across emerging markets. Most of the small and medium businesses or lack opportunities to raise capital, and even if they get capital, they get at very high cost compared to the developed market economies. The SMEs face very difficult challenges. We worked with across markets where the cost of capital was significantly high. We believe that there are tremendous opportunities and growth potential across emerging markets of Africa and Southeast Asia, but opportunity is everywhere and capital is. At the same time, real world assets have always been a pain point of DeFi or Web3. The total potential of real world assets, if I look at traditional finance, especially alternate investing, like capital lead lending, borrowing, asset leasing, inverse factoring, is over $360 trillion. And the whole DeFi ecosystem today is just $100 billion, which less than 0.5% of the total team. And why is that? That's primarily because there is a significant difficulty in adoption of tokenization. There are high costs involved in the process of tokenizing assets for funds, which includes both the tech cost as well as the legal cost. There are risks associated. If I look at some of the current players like Centrifuge and Goldfinch, there is a lot of risk associated with exposure to a single asset leasing or single deal in the DeFi world. And the APR that gets generated also has significant risks in terms of default and management. And the other part is the liquidity. It's very difficult to get liquidity for such assets. They are logged in for a large amount of period, and it makes it very difficult to finance and also create ecosystem for that. So at Zoth, we believe that Web3 provides an opportunity to create an open field to have capital flow across the different markets. At Zoth, we are building an ecosystem which consists of a marketplace which allows high net worth individuals and institutions to invest in multiple real world assets, which are primarily in tokenized format, and allowing them to both use their DeFi capital to invest in those assets. We provide tokenization as a service primarily to large funds and institutions to bring their off-chain real-world assets to DeFi liquidity pools and allowing users to invest in those assets. And the third part that we are focusing on at Zoth is creating liquid staking pools, which is through our unique concept of mutualization, which allows multiple assets to be grouped together and created a basket which reduces the risk of investing in emerging world assets and generating a good yield without and ensuring liquidity for our users. We are also in the process of creating our own DAO, which will be one of the few DAOs focused on only bringing emerging world assets on chain. through our mutualization concept and allowing investments to be incentivized through our unique Zoth token platform. Our revenue model has multiple elements. Our marketplace focuses on generating a fee from transactions for both investors as well as asset owners. Our EMIF liquid staking pools borrows from the DeFi liquidity at 3 to 7% and deploys in real world assets in emerging markets where cost of capital is significantly high at 10% or higher. And our DAO primarily creates a governance process which allows us to pick the right assets across the globe, across emerging markets, generating a stable 4 to 6% APR for our investors. If I look at a comparison between the current DeFi protocols and what we deliver at Zoth, see, there are two types of DeFi yield farming that happens today. One, which is high risk, high reward, high APR yield farming strategies. Most of them have been successful, but they come with very high risk. If I look at opportunities where there is a stable coin lending, the cost of the return on capital on most of them is significantly low, and there is a risk of default. And if you are a validator for a L1 or an L2, you get a staking rewards, but the price varies of the particular token. Then the reward is also linked to the specific price that comes. In case of Zoth yields, the yields generated are directly linked to the real world economic activity. So a DeFi investor invests in the Zoth DAO, generating a 12 to 18% across markets of Southeast Asia, Africa, and India. On an average, our products generate between 10 to 20% APR, which are backed by real income and real economy and allowing a stable ecosystem for our investors. Our current traction has been significantly good. There is a strong interest from multiple asset owners to be part of our ecosystem. We have started with asset leasing, which is getting vehicle financing for electric vehicles across some of the top companies. The IRR we are generating is between 14 to 20% APR. We also have some pre-leased commercial properties and asset leasing, which are generating on an average between 8 to 20% APR with a risk escalation of 15%. Our three products, which is primarily liquid staking pool, EMIs, and tokenization as a service, are in various process of development. The liquid staking pool has a 12 million plus liquid staking pool currently available, which has helped us deploy across Africa, Nigeria, and India. And we also have been the only company in the asset tokenization space with access to regulatory sandboxes, allowing us to deploy seamlessly across these markets. Our EMI pool has over 25 million plus AUM in place, and we have signed more than 10 MOUs with top stablecoin providers and large institutions who are lending to these players. And through our tokenization as a service, we are bringing traditional funds on chain and allowing DeFi investors to invest in these high-yield assets. We have been around for a year, and over the last few months, we have grown at a rapid speed. We raised from some of the top partners, which include SOSV, Animoca brands, and we are also part of the Hyperness DeFi Accelerator, the only DeFi accelerator program in the world, which is backed by Polygon and A16Z. And we have more than 50,000 plus DeFi investors on our pipeline across our community as well as our social media channels. Our team consists of people with strong background in building businesses in emerging markets. I have 15 years plus experience across Unilever and Budweiser. My co-founder is an ETH scholar and is an alumni of Berkeley and has been building DeFi models and has been part of some of the top activities across blockchain and Berkeley and multiple other communities in this space. We have our team members from consulting as well as legal and regulatory setups to enable strong linkages between traditional finance and DeFi ecosystem. And we also have team members who have strong risk management experience as well as experiences some of the largest DeFi platforms like Polytrade, Centrifuge, etc., bringing us an expertise and skill in this space. So we are currently building on our initial product, and we have done more than 12 million plus collateralized lending through our platform. We are building our product across the 4 ecosystem pillars that I mentioned. We will be scaling our offerings across multiple emerging markets across different regions. We are launching our Zode token by end of this year, which will be powered by our liquid staking pools and we are targeting an investor base of 250K with an AUM of over 75 million. And by Q2 of next year, we are launching our global platform, scaling our DeFi lending protocols across different markets and garnering higher API. We are backed by some of the top angel investors, including some of the large fintech unicorns, Animoca, SOSV, as well as Hypernest, which is backed by A16Z as one of the top ecosystem players in this space. Our focus is to bring the global liquidity, the DeFi liquidity on our platform, enabling multiple small and medium business to gain from this space. We are currently raising our seed round. We are raising around $4 million for a pre-money valuation of 20 million. We are doing it both in equity as well as token grants. It will give us a runway for next 18 months. And we have a target of $100 million AUM with a revenue of $10 million for our platform. And that's all from my side. Looking forward for people to reach out to us in case there is a.
Thank you, Pritam. I think it only allows me to ask one question from the audiences. So would you disclose the underlying assets to clients to keep the transparency?
Yes.
And how to deal with liquid?
Yeah, there is one more question. So I just want to confirm, so it's a centralized or decentralized platform?
We are starting with centralized, but we will also have a decentralized version of it.
Yeah, because the reason why I'm asking this question is because that there are like some things happen these days, especially for the SVB and many centralized platforms. They just disclose the risk exposure to the market. So like how to rebuild the user's confidence in the centralized platform is one of the very important thing for us to do. So what do you think the solution? How to keep the transparency of the asset to the clients?
So 2 things. One, the underlying assets in our case would be fully transparent. The investors would know where is the ultimate borrower and what are the benefits. The assets would be insured. We have partnered with some of the largest insurance providers, so there is a risk mitigation in terms of default. The assets would also be kept in an escrow account. We have partnered with Signum Bank for the digital asset custody. So in case of default or in case of any impact to us as a platform, the ultimate assets are secured and the APR that are getting generated are provided to the user. So those kind of transparency we are keeping at our end to ensure that the risk of default and multiple protection, including insurance, to ensure that any default gets protected.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. Yes, there's no more question. Thank you.
All right, then thank you, Pritam. Okay, so moving on to the last project, Zero Scope. Philip is the co-founder and CEO of Zero Scope. Zero Scope is a Web3 knowledge graph protocol.
Hey there, guys. Let me move this over here. I think camera is good and audio is good. Can everyone hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful.
And sorry for keeping you to wait that long.
No, don't worry. I like to go last because that allows me to listen to everyone else first. You know, it's an opportunity and a space to also learn what's happening. You know, in this sort of spaces. All right, I'll go right to it. Thank you for the introduction. Yes, I am Philip. I'm one of the co-founders from Xeriscope, or as a co-CEO, and also as a lead developer. So I really like all the technical discussion that everyone was having here today. I'm also, you know, into coding and everything, like I mentioned. I'm one of the lead developers. What is Xeriscope? We're a Web3 knowledge graph analytics company. Actually, I'm going to start sharing my screen real quick, just to use our time wisely. Let me see. I think I got this right. All right, so this is our main website. It's Xeriscope. We currently have two products. We have Watchers.pro and we have the developers portal. The state of the company is that we successfully raised a seed round for a $22 million valuation. And now we're opening a Series A. Series A, it's for $45 million valuation. We already raised 2 million, and we're looking to be raising a total of 7. We are actually being led by Hashkey, which is one of our lead investors. On this round, on the previous round, we received investment from various CEOs, among them ABCD, which are the same people who, for example, founded Wobi. We have a working product. We actually have a number of clients. We are working directly with cryptocurrency exchanges. We just to name a few of them: Binance, Wobi, OKX. We're also working with a number of security auditors, including Sloteness. I'm just scrolling down so you can see some of our partners, OKX, and so on and so forth. One of the nicest things that we're able to do is that we were able to create a new abstraction layer on blockchain, and we call this abstraction layer the entity model. And this entity model is a way to understand actually the human behavior of what happens on chain, and also correlate this with Web2 data. Let me give everyone an example of what I mean by our entity model and combination of Web2 data. So far, most of the companies out there, when they're doing Web3 analysis, they mainly focus on what happens on chain. That means models of, for example, KYT, which is what chain analysis does, which means know your transaction. And then everyone's focuses on either on a transaction or on the address. What we did is that we actually, like I mentioned previously, we created an abstraction layer, and we tried to put first the human behavior behind the addresses. We try to understand the human motivation, the human behavior, the human reasoning behind these transactions, and we create a knowledge graph based on the relationship between addresses. So we're able to know not just what the user is doing on an address, but also how many addresses they control. And with this abstraction model, we're able to provide one of our services, which is KYE, which stands for Know Your Entity. And one of the nicest things that we're able to do with this model is, imagine for a moment you're a cryptocurrency exchange. And now comes the fun story. So everyone knows what happened with Binance back in the, a few months ago when Paxos shut down. And most of the story that went public is that Circle, the company behind USDC, issue a formal complaint. And of course, there's always complaints about how Binance is conducting businesses and operations, but there's some details that perhaps are missing from the story that are not widely public that we're able to put together. So this is a problem that affects the industry as a whole. And what I mean by this is the problem with current KYC models. Because at the end of the day, KYC models are just looking as a way to attach government ID to an address. But all cryptocurrency exchanges out there, they have no idea of what people are doing on DeFi. And we're able to provide this data to exchanges. We're able to correlate transaction data to addresses across multiple chains, and we're able to also determine if this is the same people behind those transactions. Besides this, we offer a number of services. I'm just gonna, again, quickly browse through our website. It is watchers.pro. We offer Water Explorer, Token Explorer, Project, NFT Explorer, centralized exchange transparency. We also a feature called Plutus, which is a due diligence process for VCs. We offer money flow analysis and also a risk score analysis. I'm going to pull up really a quick address. I'm gonna just to seafood.eth and see what address or what information we're able to pull up from this. Everyone who's listening to me, everyone who's welcome, you can go to watchers.pro. And you can either put your own ENS or your own Ethereum address, and have a simple challenge for everyone, again, that's listening to me today. Try to find out how much information we have about you. I'm being serious. We have a very robust product. We're supporting Ethereum and Binance Exchange, with other chains coming out in the short-term future after we close our Series A. And just as a sake of exercise, see how much data we have about you. And if you find something interesting that we know about your addresses, you can send me an email to philip@zeroxcode.com, and I will be happy to give you one of our memberships, which is actually worth $2,000 per month. Again, going back to what I was mentioning, I'm just typing seafood.eth, and we see here a dashboard that it's summarizing all the transactions. We're also able to pull up the NFT collection of this person. We're able to generate what I mentioned previously, which is the entity analysis, which is our understanding of how this address is related to everything that's happening on chain. One of the nicest features that we have is the entity graph, which is a cluster on how this entity is transacting on Ethereum. And one of the most powerful tools that we allow is that it only takes people that are investigating, or as a process of due diligence, or just as a business intelligence that are committing, one single address, and they'll be able to pull up the total transaction history of all the addresses this person has transacted in the past. We also offer anti-money laundering risk score. Again, this is for people who are running cryptocurrency exchanges or have to be compliant in one way or another. And this is similar to what other companies like Chain Analysis are doing out there. Again, everyone is more than welcome to go to watchers.pro. And like I mentioned, just try to find out how much information we know about you. And if I can give you a free subscription for you to explore data, I'll be happy to do that. Besides our main product, which is more for your everyday user, we also have an enterprise version, which is on our developers portal. And this actually works similar to Infura or Alchemy models, where people will basically buy a certain amount of credits, and then depending on the complexity of the data that they want, they will consume to this credit. So I'm using my API key and an address to pull on data information about this address. And for example, if you're a cryptocurrency exchange again, and you're trying to find out what is the risk, or if you're a VC and you're looking into investing in a project and you want to understand the strings that are attached into some projects, because as we know in Web3 there's a lot of projects that are anonymous, or perhaps their past is not clear. We're able to clear up that right for you. You just need any address from the project, and all the data that we have, it's going to pull up for you. So in here I'm looking at the risk detail of transacting with this address, and we see our JSON response. It's pulling some information about the risk. Besides this, like I mentioned, we are offering a multiple of other services. And the reason we wanted to launch this is because in Web3, there's a huge amount of problem when it comes to validating facts. And I'm going to tell you one quick example. I'm going to leave it like that. So imagine for a moment, you're listening to a pitch as an investor. You could be a VC, or you could be just, a normal guy out there and just looking for the next, moonshot. And then this is the information you have from the project. They're the top gas guzzlers on Ethereum. They have 50,000 followers on Twitter. They have 40,000 people on Telegram, and they have more than 100,000 transactions on chain within the past 7 days. All of this sounds actually like really interesting. It looks like the project in itself is trending. However, there's no company out there besides us that is going to tell you if this 50,000 people on Twitter, 40,000 people on Telegram, 100,000 transactions on Ethereum, more than 10,000 different wallets are actually controlled by the same entity. And what I mean by this is a simple technology that exists for a number of years, which is called HD wallets or hierarchy deterministic wallets, where with a seed phrase, you can generate a number of wallets and you can control it. It is very simple for us programmers to automate this. And there's no real tool out there that is able to distinguish real users from fake users. This is some of the data that we have indexed so far. So we have about 126 million entities on Ethereum. We have more than 287 million externally owned accounts that we track. In terms of labels, we have over 34 million labels that we currently possess. And I'm just going to leave you with a nice idea before I leave. Imagine for a moment you're investigating a project and you want to find out what is this project latest status. You can go to Twitter and you can read what they're tweeting. If you want to find out about the CEO of this company, you can go to LinkedIn ID and find out about the history of the CEO, right? His education, his work experience, and so on and so forth. But there's no real company out there. There's no real website where just by going into a single website, you can get this person's Twitter, LinkedIn ID, Medium account, GitHub account, and on top of this, his Web3 persona. We're the only ones out there that are providing this current service. Like I mentioned, if we have the data supported, it will be displayed. So just by typing this Ethereum address or its ENS, we're able to pull in his DBank account, Meter Order, OpenSea, Rarible, and the Foundation .app account as well. So we want to change and we want to revolutionize what we mean by our on-chain analysis compared to other companies, for example, like Nansen, which are just mainly used for displaying information, or in the case of other company, which are just an application in itself on what is happening on chain. We want to elevate this level of analysis and actually combine it with Web2 data to be able to correlate what happens on chain as well. Like I mentioned, everyone is welcome to try the product themselves. You can find out how much information we know about you. If you're a developer and you want to test some of the data, please send me a message. I'll be more than happy to give you an API key so you can try it yourself. And if you're a VC looking for the next opportunity that is going to enhance your current portfolio, like I mentioned, we have an open Series A that we're looking to be closing within the next month. And I will be more than happy to give you a demo as well so you can look at our capability. Thank you for your time today. And if there's any questions, of course, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Thank you, Philip. So I do have one question from the audiences. So what do you think of the different utility scenarios of on-chain data and off-chain data, and how to make the mechanism more efficient to combine with?
Sure. So when it comes to on-chain data and off-chain data, the biggest problem or concern out there is how reliable is this data. In the terms of Web3, by the incentive or mechanism of having to pay a gas, it's a way that the data that you push on-chain has a cost. This means if you want to spam the chain in order for you to slow it down with a lot of transactions, you want to fill up the blocks of Ethereum so that the mempool grows in size, you can do this. However, it will be extremely, extremely expensive. For example, in the case of Bitcoin, sure, you can have 51% attack on the network. However, the cost of being able to pull this is millions of dollars per hour. So Web3 or blockchain technology, they have a built-in system to prevent this from happening, meaning that the on-chain data has a cost for you to write it, and that there's this element of game theory behind it, right? You don't want to waste money for something that it's not valuable for you. In the case of Web2, what is really interesting is that we have the freedom to execute any arbitrary logic. For example, in the case of the browsers, we use JavaScript and we execute everything. In the case of Web3 data, then we have Ethereum and the EVM, so we have limited opcodes on the nodes that we can execute. So the biggest challenge out there is how do we actually combine both of them, right? That is the main problem of what you're trying to say. What we find out is that there's a number of ways in which you're able to achieve this by actually correlating metadata from Web 2 and also Web 3. One of the ways that, that we're able to do this is that there's a lot of people, and I usually have this discussion because, like I mentioned, about with some of the VCs that we're having, because they're interested in this part of the business and how we are able to do this. And it's that people, human beings are very good at a number of things, even if those number of things are going down. Now we have GPT-4, so I guess some of the more creative things that we account humans for, it's going down. The only thing that we're really, we're not really good at is by creating randomness or entropy. And this is what people from OSINT, or open source intelligence, they called cross-identity contamination. And this goes back to the principles of OPSEC practices out there. What happens on chain, it stays forever, and there's always a pattern if there's a human being behind the transactions that are being written on chain. The same thing happens for Web 2. So we're able to integrate this into our data silos, generate scripts that is able to parse the Web 2 data, for example, accounts, and we're able to correlate this. One of the simplest ways and one of the simplest examples that I can illustrate this in order not to sound so abstract is that people, usually developers that are writing on their free time, they request for tips, right? Or donations after the articles, like they publish it on Medium or GitHub or Twitter. And they have addresses that they control the private keys displayed on these websites. We're able to correlate these transactions to their Web2 profile to what happens on Web3. So this is one of the ways we're able to combine Web2 data with Web3 data. I hope that answered your questions. Let me know if you need another example. I can also clarify for you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Philip. I think this is the time's up for this project. And well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for all the speakers and founders to give wonderful presentations. And to ensure the best quality of the demo day, this time we only invited the speakers and the founders on the demo day. But thank you all the audiences on YouTube. And we will organize HiBlock Demo Day periodically. So if you know a great company or you are a great company, please reach out to us and we're happy to see you on the next demo day. And thank you guys again. Bye-bye.